The county's rising housing prices look eerily similar to sale prices 7 years ago, just before the Great Recession's real estate meltdown. But this time around, home inventory is lower throughout the county. Here with an update on local real estate markets and expectations are my guest, Michael Lee, finance lecturer at San Diego State University, and Chris Anderson, board president of San Diego Association of Realtors. And Chris, let's start with this. What's the median price of a single family home today in San Diego?
About $519,000.
So medium in between. Are housing prices here escalating, Chris, too quickly?
I don't believe so. The stats that you're going off of are looking month over month, but when you take it over a full year to look at it, it's not that great of an increase.
We're looking at percentage-wise, maybe 4% in there.
Right.
That's about right, what
Correct.
I thought I read. Michael, should we be worried about this 4% rising cost when we've got some limited inventory?
I don't believe so. I don't think we see the speculative factors that were behind the big run-up in house prices prior to the recession. And what we had is a catch-up period where we did have double-digit increases, a lot of that driven by some of the short sales and what have you. Now I think we're in a more sustainable environment for house price increases.
I understand that average mortgage rates are at historic lows. I've heard it been called that. What are they today?
I think you can get a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage for about 3.65% roughly.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's a lot different than before. I know the Federal Reserve recently signaled that it's not going to raise short-term rates. Let me start with you, Michael. How do mortgage rates actually impact home prices?
With lower mortgage rates, you can afford to buy more house, or you can afford to be qualified for the house that you would like to purchase. So that's going to be a factor that'll boost demand.
And are you seeing that, Chris? Are you seeing people maybe qualify for a little bit bigger home than they could have a few years ago?
Yes. Plus, with the increase that we've had in appreciation, the people that were just breaking even are now making a profit, so they can move up. They have more of a buying power. They can get something better, newer, and then it frees up the inventory for the first-time buyer and fuels the market.
So condo people moving to single-family homes.
Correct.
and other people moving up. Chris, recently Realtor.com found San Diego to be the least affordable place in the United States, mostly because of the inaffordability of buying a home. Wages here remain pretty much stagnant over the last 7 years, which a lot of people say this is the reason for part of the dangerous or questionable lending programs that were partly responsible for this big market crash back in the Great Recession. Are there any new safeguards in place to make sure this doesn't happen again when it comes to questionable mortgage loans?
There are definitely new safeguards. We really aren't seeing the self-certification and liar's loan type of limited documentation mortgages anymore. I think a lot of the same incentives, though, still exist in the market. Lenders need to get loan volume. People get paid on commission. So we haven't fixed everything, but we certainly have improved it.
Do either of you know the answer to this? Who enforces the housing lending programs? Do you know who does that? So if there's a questionable loan or mortgage loan, who would enforce that?
Well, it depends on the regulator. So the banking regulators would do that for banks and credit unions, and then Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are de facto the biggest regulators in the market, and the FHA, and they would all kind of enforce whether their guidelines are being followed.
I see. And Chris, homes and condos typically sell well in the spring and summer.
Yes.
How do you expect to see sale prices climb throughout the year, either spring, summer, and then ultimately back in the fall?
Over the full year, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I see happening is probably in the mid single digits. So you're probably looking at about 5, 6, maybe 7% over the full year.
Over the full year,
Yes.
but a little bit higher in the spring and summer?
Always.
All
Always.
right.
That is the time to buy and sell.
Okay. Chris Anderson, Michael Lee, thanks so much for the update.
Thank you.
Thank you.